take 2, limo number 1. And then I'm like, no, you just like, your mouth is weird. He had an accident. But I meant he had an accent. And I don't know if he just had underwear stuffed in his pants. Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today is a super exciting video. It is the very first episode of season 2 of my series Get Ready With Me and TV. If you watched my first season, it was like a bit of a fail, but I love the idea of it, and I think we just needed a different show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a new series I started a couple months ago, and basically every season of this series, Get Ready With Me and TV, is going to be based on a different TV show that is on TV at the time, that is on air, that is current. So for example, the first season of this series I started was based on the final season of the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I do love the show still. I'm loving the season. I just don't think it's as dramatic as it used to be. I also just think it's the wrong show. I don't think enough goes on. So I did stop that. I just kind of was like, no. So I did a poll, and you guys wanted to see, out of the options I gave you, the Bachelorette season that just started this past Monday. So basically how this season of my series is going to go is every Monday the Bachelorette airs. I encourage you guys to follow along with the season, watch the show. P.S. I'm not sponsored by any means. This is just an exciting new series. I wanted to mix it up, do something different, do something I've never really seen anybody else do before. If you don't watch the show, I will definitely be giving you the spoilers. I'll be talking about the episode. I'll be, giving you the ins and outs of what happened, my opinion on what happened, the contestant. I'm going to predict what's going to happen. I'm going to just, review the episodes. And while I do so, I'm going to be getting ready. I will, in the bottom corner right here, be posting what I'm using in case you want to follow along or are just interested in knowing what I'm using. If you are watching The Bachelor, if you like The Bachelorette, definitely comment below what you guys are thinking of this season. Give me your thoughts on the episode. And without further ado, let's get started. I just realized I forgot to wax my eyebrows. Hold on a minute. Okay, that is a lot better. There's our lovely fan noise. I apologize if you're new here. I forgot to mention my name is Caitlin, and welcome our lovely fan. I have my air completely off, but she likes to join us from time to time when it's worst time possible. So welcome. Let's give her a round of applause. If you missed this episode, spoiler alert, I will be talking about the episode and I will be giving details as to what happened. So spoiler alert, the season premiere of The Bachelorette. This is the season that Katie was the Bachelorette. When episodes started, it basically gave like a preview as to what's to come for the season, which I love because it always gives like the most dramatic parts. I'm a sucker for drama. One of my favorite type of shows is reality. I just apparently love to watch other people's drama. It looks pretty dramatic. Basically, there was, a lot of guys arguing and not physically fighting, but fighting like verbally. She says she's done, she's quitting. I don't believe that happens. I feel like, again, they always show the most dramatic parts of the episode or of the season, sorry. So I personally don't think that she's gonna quit, but who knows, maybe she does. I personally really like Katie. I liked her on Matt's season, which if you didn't know who she is, if you didn't see the past season of The Bachelor, she's one of the girl contestants from the newest Bachelor, Matt James, I think his last name was. I really liked her on that season too. And I think she's funny. I think she's not super serious. I feel like The Bachelor, I love the show, I really do, but it's so cheesy sometimes. And I also feel like a lot of the time, the people who are The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, I feel like they take things too seriously, and I feel like she's not going to do that. I feel like she's very fun, laid back, and just wants to have a blast. I think she just is a very good example for women in general because she seems to be very confident in herself. I mean, if you missed the season that she was in, when they come and meet and then you want to try to like stand out, she brought a dildo. Oh, thank you. She left. Let's give her a round of applause on the way out. I think it really made her stand out. She's very open about that part of her life. She's a very confident woman. She's very open and seems very down to earth and genuine. And I personally don't think that she would like say something or do something that she didn't genuinely feel, because sometimes the show seems a little bit scripted. I don't know if it is, and who knows, if it is, then she probably would have to say these things. But she just, anyways, long story short, she seems very genuine about it, and I just really like her. She's funny, and I just like it. Before we get into actually what happened on the show, Chris Harrison is not, I don't know. Okay, so I didn't actually look into this. I should have before I started this. But is Chris Harrison like completely fired forever? And if so, like, I don't really want to talk about this much because I know everybody's gonna have a different opinion on it, and I think everybody has a right to their own opinion. But I personally, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be so weird if he's just gone forever. I loved Chris Harrison. I mean, I'm not condoning what he said, but especially at the beginning of the episode, I was so sad. It's weird without Chris Harrison, but I do actually really, really love Tayshia. I really liked her. Is it Colton? I think it was Colton. I liked when she was on her season, and then I liked her on Bachelor in Paradise. I loved when her and John Paul Jones got together. I thought that was so cute. I liked her on her season of The Bachelor, and she ended up with Zach. I just really, really like her. I think she's so funny. She's so bubbly, and she would be a good replacement. So if it's going to be permanent, I think she should be the one. And I don't really know Caitlyn that much. I haven't watched The Bachelorette like forever. I actually just got into it. I think the first season that I watched on TV, like while it was airing, was Colton's season. So it's only been a couple years. And I do think that, as Caitlyn seemed nice too. So I do think that they actually made it really fun. And in a sense, it actually made it a little bit less lame. Oh, I feel bad because I love Chris Harrison. I think he's so funny. He's like the OG host. But I don't know. I feel like because they're like younger women, they've been through the experience, it was just funnier maybe. So they show like little clips of the guys before they actually come into the limo. Somebody's Canadian, and I love when they have a Canadian on because like represent, you know, I'm Canadian over here. Like, can you imagine dating 30 men at one time? No, I couldn't handle that many men at once. Anyways, I can barely handle my husband. Once feelings would start to develop, that would be so difficult. Like, you could potentially start falling for multiple people all at once. Like, and as the contestant, I could not do that. Like, you would go there first night and there would just be 29 other people there for the exact same reason. You're technically all dating the same girl or the same guy. Like, what? It's the most wild concept to me, but I don't know. I guess for some people it works because some of the couples have been together for years and years and years and years. Basically, what I'm going to do is now talk about the contestants. Limo number 1. First guy. That would be the most nerve-wracking. I feel like first, I would not want to be first. I'd want to be in the second limo for sure. I feel like it would put so much more pressure. You're one of the first people, and then also you would then see 29 other men before she sees you again. Okay, so the first guy out of the limo, his name is Thomas, and he was actually one of my favorites. So he lives in San Diego. He is a real estate agent. He just was really sweet. He seemed genuine, you know? He seemed like one of the nicer ones. He seemed like he genuinely was like, you know, I'm really here. I don't know, he seemed a little bit more mature, so I did like him. Then came out Aaron, who is from Walnut, is an account exec at Health IQ. He was okay. He seemed quite nervous, but he seemed nice. He's not my favorite though because of what happens later on in the episode, so stay tuned. Then comes out Andrew M. He was pretty good too. He seemed really nice, and he said he was there just for her, which obviously you would want to hear that. So yeah, nice. He's from Walnut Hill. He works as an associate attorney. Then comes out David. Made a joke about being a New Yorker, and he seemed pretty like smooth. He seemed a little bit more suave. But yeah, he seemed kind of nice, pretty confident. And it came out Michael. Oh, Michael. He was a little bit, what's a kind way of saying, he seemed really sweet, but he was a little bit dorkier, in a nice way. Like, he was a little cutie. He said he had a gift for her, and he's like, this is a watch that was passed down for like 200 years. It's, you know, really important to me. And I'd be like, that's a little bit odd. I just am meeting you. But then he goes, no, just kidding. I actually just bought this at the airport. He seems funny. Like, it was funny. Once she was talking to him later on in the show, she seemed a little bit more interested, because he seems like really, really nice. He is a single dad. Oh, his wife passed away. I didn't know that. That's so sad. He's a business founder. Oh, that's so sad. So then comes in somebody in a truck. His name is Trey. So at first I'm thinking, oh, so this person's totally coming in, trying to be some like, you know, really like confident guy driving his truck in, and then he like jumps out of the truck like it's full of balls, like a ball pit, like the balls in a kid's ball pit. He like jumps out, and then he makes a joke. He's there to have a ball with her, and she's a baller bachelorette. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I can get down with some dad jokes. I can get down with some dad jokes. I have like the lamest sense of humor in life. So I can understand that. I can appreciate a good dad joke. So I thought he was funny. I actually think that he was one of my favorites. I think it's cool when they like do something a little bit more different. Some of them I feel like they try too hard and it comes off a little bit lame, but a lot of them I think is just, it's a good to kind of break the ice in that moment and be really funny. So I liked that. Let me do my brows 1 minute. So then comes in limo 2. First comes out Greg, who seems so nervous. He seemed like a little sweetheart and he seemed super nervous, but he seemed really, really like sweet and really genuine. Like, I don't know, I feel like all of them seemed nice. Sometimes like when you really pay attention to what they're saying, some of them seem a little more genuine than others, and he just seemed really, really genuine. Okay, spoiler alert. I'm gonna just say it. He got the first impression rose. I didn't really expect it, and not because I didn't think he was like a good contestant. I don't know, he just seems so nervous, and it's funny, they kind of point you in the direction of thinking that she's gonna pick somebody else. Maybe, I don't know, just to make it more of like a surprise. They put a lot of attention on other guys and not him. And then came in Gabriel. He came in and was like talking about COVID and how it's been hard. And I mean, they would have had to quarantine, right? Which would suck. He was just talking about COVID and how been a little isolated, and so he used it to like get a hug out of her. But he did it in such an awkward way. He's like, let me show you my favorite hug. And like they just held each other and like breathed in, and I'm like, this just, I don't know, if I were her, I'd be like, yeah, you're awkward. I don't know. I didn't really think it was that funny. So he seemed a little bit awkward. Then came out John, and he seemed a little like suave. He was one of those that seemed like he was pulling out all the stops. He seemed a little bit like more suave. I feel like some guys just have that like about them, and he definitely was one of them. But she seemed to be into him. She said he was like her type when he walked away, which I don't know, for some reason I would have, I think, pictured her with like a more like scruffy, like manly man than was Garrett, who was a little bit like quieter. He seemed like a really, really shy, but nice. I think because of that, I just didn't feel like she was going to be as into him, because she's just so outspoken and so like bubbly. Then Austin came out, and he was like super suave. Just seemed, I don't know, like even just the picture that right here, he just like looks suave. He's got the chain. He just seemed like a little bit, you know, like a playa. He was like suave. He knew what to say. I don't know. Do we trust this guy? I don't know, guys. What do you guys think of this Austin guy? I don't know. He does seem nice. I feel like it's just me being a little bit judgmental, but he seemed a little bit like a playa. Then there's Marty. He, for some reason, there was a few of them that seemed a little bit younger. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the way that he looked or if it was the way that he talked. I feel like he had a baby face, and maybe that's why. But yeah, that was just how I personally felt. I just felt like he looked a little bit younger. So Landon is in Dallas, Texas. That's where he lives. I don't know, for some reason I feel like he seemed older. I don't know if it was just his personality, but he was actually the same age as Marty, who I felt seemed younger. So clearly I'm not a very good judgment of age. Carl was next, who seemed super nice. He had a lot of screen time in this episode. He stood out a lot, like he had lots to say. I feel like he is a bit of like a leader, was quite the talker when it came to the guys. So I don't know, he seemed nice though. This is gonna sound so shallow of me. I feel like I'm a little bit judgmental when it comes to their mouth. I don't know. I feel like sometimes on the show I'll be like, oh yeah, he's cute. And then I'm like, no, you just like, your mouth is weird. I don't know. I'm picky about mouths. Are you guys like that? So then comes in Josh. So Josh seemed nice. He is actually younger as well, which I think I could kind of tell. He just seemed a little bit rehearsed. I feel like a lot of them did. You could tell they like, you know, prepared. And obviously you would, right? But he just seemed a little bit more rehearsed to me, which is funny. Maybe he was nervous. So then comes in somebody with a really, really old car. I actually tapped my husband because he was watching his own show while I was watching this. And I was like, what car is that? Because I wanted to write down. He said it's like an old Ford Fusion. I don't know if that's 100% right. But the guy said it was like an old 1920s car. So this Andrew S. guy comes in and he has, oh my goodness, I typed accent, but it changed it to accident. So I was just about to say he had an accident, but I meant he had an accent. So no, he didn't have an accident on the show. He had an accent. I don't know. He was the first guy to have an accent. I was like, cool. You know, it's not a bad thing to have. But then it was all a lie. I definitely bought into that. Did you guys actually think his accent was real? Because I did. Maybe I'm a little bit naive, but I totally thought his accent was real. I think he said he was from like England or whatever. And then he was like, no, I'm just kidding. He's from Illinois. But he actually was one of my favorites. He seemed super sweet and genuine and like funny. Like obviously funny because he pulled the whole like accent joke. So then somebody came in a moped and his name was Brandon. He was another one that seemed a little bit more suave. He had all the right things to say. Then came in Conor C. He had some, I don't know, I missed what he said, but something about a baseball glove. Some of them were super out there with the vehicles and all that. And then some of them just came in with like some lame pickup line, but I would be so nervous. Like, I don't even know what I would say. I'd probably be the one that just says, hey, nice to meet you. Casey inside. Because like, what else would I say? I don't know. So then came in this guy, Kyle. And I don't know if he just had underwear stuffed in his pants to play the joke. Like, it was funny. As I said, I'm down with all the dad jokes. I'm down with the lame jokes. It's totally fine. But then he was like carrying around these underwear in the house with like she wasn't even there. And somebody said like he ripped his underwear off. Did he actually rip his own underwear off? I feel like it would be funnier if he just pulled it out of like, I don't know. That's kind of weird. It was a little bit weird to me. I don't know. Then came in Hunter. He had a fish and he made like a fish pun. It was kind of lame. Some of these like pickup lines, they were kind of lame. Then comes in Jeff with the RV, which I don't really know what that was about. I'm like, where do you guys come up with this? This RV guy, he seemed nice, but he kind of seemed a little bit weird. I don't know, guys. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but he seemed like a little bit of a weirdo. And then later on in the night, he shows her inside the RV and it gets weird. I'll leave you at that and we'll get back to it. Then there's James who rolls in with inside a box, a big present box, right? On wheels, massive. And then she's just like waiting there. And then he like starts talking to her from inside the box, right? I kind of thought it was funny. Like I did kind of think it was funny at first, but kind of weird. I personally thought what he was trying to do was like make her wait, like, oh, that's the one guy I haven't seen how he looks, maybe, you know what I mean? But then he like doesn't get out of the box until like way later in the night. I mean, I guess we don't really know how long it took, but people like were even commenting like, are you gonna get out of the, like, this is starting to get weird, man. I don't know, I guess he was trying to be different. Like he wasn't the worst looking of them all, that's for sure, but I just thought that was stupid. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought it was stupid. Don't really think she kind of got the joke. I think she was kind of like, okay, you can come out now. Like, this is getting weird. Then comes Brandon, another like more suave guy. He seems a little more serious than the rest of them. Like a lot of them came in with jokes. A lot of them came in with like sexual puns, which I can understand. Number one, because you're men. you know, but also because of her entrance into the season and just her openness about like sex. Then came in Marcus, who seemed a little bit more shy and like innocent, but he seemed really nice. Oh, Mike. Yeah, he seemed nice. He's the one that's the virgin. I just wrote that he seemed nice. You didn't really see much of them. This is when it started to pick up, so I don't have as many notes. She seemed to be attracted to like all of them. I guess there were a few that she didn't seem as like interested in, but she even said like they're all good looking. That would make it harder though. Then came in Cody, who had the blow up doll. He's like, you know, this has been a hard time with COVID. And I've had somebody that really has helped me through it and, you know, really just helped me out. Do you want to meet her? And he goes back to the limo and brings out a blow up doll. I'm like, are you joking me? Like, I get it. It's funny. I totally think he did it because of her whole like dildo thing. And I mean, I think she thought it was funny, but I don't know. I feel like I didn't find it funny. I would be like, ew, you can turn around and go back. Ew. No, thank you. One guy was like going on about how he like strokes it out when he's all stressed out, but he's a painter, so that's what he meant. That was kind of funny. Like, I like the puns. I just didn't really think that the whole like blow up doll was really that funny. Then there's Christian, just makes another sexual joke. That's all I wrote. I didn't even write what he said. It just makes another sexual joke. Okay, so then there's Courtney, which is like the most interesting. I don't know, like I've never heard of a guy named Courtney. Interesting. And it was like Courtney, like with a Q-U. I'm like, this is the wildest name I've ever heard in my life. Makes another sexual joke. He seems like super cocky. He was another suave one, but he just seemed a little bit more on the cocky side. I don't know. But then later on in the night, he seemed a little bit more down to earth, but I don't know, that intro was just a little bit too much for me. Then there's Connor B, who comes in a cat suit, and I died. At first, I'm like, what's going on with this weirdo? Like, get him out of here. What the heck? But then she loved it. She was like, couldn't stop thinking about him the whole night. And I didn't realize she was so obsessed with her cats. I just thought it was so funny. And like, I feel like that takes some balls, because you'd want them to find you really attractive, but wearing a cat suit with like black marker on your face as whiskers, I don't know, like you really have to just be confident that she's going to be into that, because if not, then you don't really look too hot over there. Then someone literally asks, I don't know who said it, but he goes, I wonder when we're going to get some drama in here. And it's like, what, are you wanting this? Like, it's literally night one. Okay, why don't we give it a night before we start asking where the drama is, you know? I would watch him. Okay, this is going to sound a little bit mean, but do you know who the Jeff guy, the RV guy reminds me of? Better Call Saul. The hairdo, guys. Tell me you don't agree. Come on. So then she does her toast, but oh my goodness. Her drink was clinking the whole time. I could not stop just thinking about it. Like, you could hear her, because her microphone must be like in her dress. You could hear her drink clinking the whole entire time, and I was like gonna lose it. And the one guy brings her into like the RV, right? Well, I kind of already felt like he seemed a little bit weird. He takes her into the RV and she like notes how it looked like it had been like lived in. So number one, are you like living out of an RV? Which, like, no judgment. If that's what you want to do, that's great for you. But like, I would be a little bit like, do you not have a home? And then it was like dirty. Like he had like a veggie tray for her and it's like eating celery while they're talking, and like there's like just dirty clothes on the couch he has to move. And then he makes the comment like, this is as clean as you'll ever see it. Well, probably not going to see it again, to be honest with you. And she like wasn't into it either. I was like, no, I would get out of there ASAP. I don't know. It just seemed a little bit weird. I feel like my favorite, like the people that really stood out, was the Thomas guy, because he just seemed like a little bit more mature, really genuine, and like actually, I don't know, he just seemed nice. Andrew S. guy, he seemed a little bit younger, and I think he is, but he seemed really genuine as well. And so I liked him. Like, I feel like he was really nice. Greg was really, really sweet, and clearly his sweet personality paid off because he got the first impression rose. So I thought that it was going to be down to the cat guy and the box guy, which he finally reveals himself, and she clearly thought he was attractive. She's like, yeah, like we have really good eye connection. And I'm like, okay, you just think he's attractive. Oh yeah, a couple guys kissed her as well. The cat guy gets a kiss, which I think she really, really likes him. I feel like he is a top contender. Oh yeah, I like the tray guy as well. He seems really, really funny. I feel like personality-wise, they would be a good match. He seems really outgoing, but also emotional and serious enough. Like I feel like he would be open to having conversations. Like he seemed more emotional than a lot of men in general, let alone a lot of the guys there. So anyways, after kind of talking to all the guys, Greg gets the first impression rose, and it totally surprised me. As I said, he seems a little more shy, a little bit more reserved. Oh, and also they kissed. So she kissed 3 guys on the first night. And one of them was after she gave Greg the first impression rose, which is so sweet. So the people that go home, Jeff, RV guy, I'm sorry, bud. Gabriel went home, who was the one that gave the weird hug, I think. Austin went home, which was the guy that was like super suave. Brandon went home, which was the guy with like, okay, so this guy reminded me of Justin from The Hills. With the long hair, just because he had the long hair like in his face, he seemed a little bit edgy. So he went home. Landon went home. Marcus went home. Marcus, he was so sweet, but you didn't make it, bud. And Marty seemed a little bit weird too. I don't know. Like this is just judging people basically off of appearance and just their first impressions that's shown on a TV show. So these people are probably great human beings. And no judgment there, but this is just from my first impression. He did seem a little bit different. You get like a little bit more in-depth future, like what's to come. And oh my goodness, Blake is coming. If you don't know who Blake is from Tayshia's season, which I wonder if that's going to be awkward for Tayshia because she's the host. Is it? Because he like really, really liked her, and she seemed to like really, really like him as well. So is that going to be awkward? Number 1, another Canadian. He was one of my favorites from Tayshia's season. I really wanted him to win, actually. Now I do really like her and Zach. I think it's a better match, but I did really, really like Blake. And so, oh, I forgot mascara. Yeah, I'm excited that he's coming, but it does not look like the guys respond well. They don't seem too happy about it, which like who would be? Just think you can come in and like take over. You didn't even apply to the show, but you wonder too, like apparently they have like contracts signed from all of the contestants, and they have so many years that they can bring them back. So you wonder, that's what I heard. Who knows how true that is, but you wonder if like some of the situations are set up. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are. Like the whole like Heather situation, I'm sorry, that had to have been set up. That could not have been real life. I kind of hope he stays. It seems like he stays because somebody says like, yeah, and he's still here, but who knows if how long he's gonna stay. It just seems like super dramatic. It looks like there's lots of tears and drama. The one person I didn't like that I totally forgot to say was Aaron. Okay, so this is the reason I didn't really love him, is because outside he's talking to that Cody guy who like, okay, I know I said he wasn't my favorite, but like he didn't really do anything wrong to anybody on the show. And this guy's going on like, I just don't like you. Aaron's saying to Cody, I just don't like you. Like, do you know the guy? Like, do they know each other outside the show? Maybe. Or you're just a D-bag because you don't even know the guy. Who cares whether you get along with him? You're there to compete for the same woman. You're probably going to hate each other by the end no matter what. So I felt like he's a little bit of a pot stir, and I think we're going to see some drama with him involved. Oh, I didn't even mention, I really, really loved the way she looked too. She's so beautiful. I do think she's a beautiful girl, and I just think her personality is even more beautiful. She looked beautiful in her red dress. I can't wink. I just can't wink. It's exciting. I'm excited to see who she picks. And yeah, so that is episode 1 of Get Ready With Me in TV. Don't forget to comment below on what you think this look is inspired by. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to follow along the series, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so you're notified of all my upcoming videos. I will be posting my weekly videos of Get Ready With Me in TV for this season 2 every Thursday. Don't forget to watch The Bachelorette on Mondays. I think it's on ABC or City TV, one of the two. 2, so don't forget to watch it and join me here on Thursdays at 12 p.m. EST. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to comment below what you thought of the episode 2 and who were your favorite contestants. Who are your top 3? Stay tuned for more. And if you want more like review-based tutorials and stuff, then I do post Mondays and Saturdays as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.